What is going on, y'all? Goofy Rexy here. Hope everybody is doing well. So in today's video, guys, we are going to be talking about Dark Dimension 4, but in a little bit of a different way. So I'm not rushing into Dark Dimension 4, and I'm going to be talking about the reason why I'm not doing it. Now, Dark Dimension 4 has been around for, a few months now, 4 or 5 months. You know, I'm not even going to count it because I'm probably going to be off, somehow, right? And a lot of players have already gotten their Doom, their new shiny Doom. Some players are a little meh on him, but I do still think that he's a top character in the game for sure. But there are just a few reasons why I personally don't think that you should rush into Dark Dimension 4. And I don't think for a lot of players that you should be rushing into Dark Dimension 4, as well. I'm definitely not doing it. And I know it's kind of controversial to talk about it, but I have a few points that I think, will make sense to you here. We're going to talk about some planning in regards to how to go into Dark Dimension 4. Now, I'm not going to be doing this on my lonesome here. I do have a special guest to talk about that with me. And what's going on, Mobile? How you doing, brother?
What's up? How are you doing? Hey, before we start, we can't go any further unless we have this stipulation. Are you okay with that?
What you talking?
Does this mean I'm now an official member of the Goof Troop?
Yes. You are an official member of the Goof Troop.
Okay, we can move forward then. We can move forward then. Okay.
Welcome. And if you guys want to be a part of the Goof Troop, come on, join on in, guys. We're accepting memberships right now. Come on in, guys.
It's a high bar to get in. Believe me,
it is. Sometimes it takes a couple months. It takes a couple months sometimes to get in there. But I appreciate you being here, man. Thank you very much. Welcome to the channel. First time, by the way, that you're on the channel.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so let's dive into the video. Now, I don't want people to think that I'm saying that Dark Dimension 4 is not. Let me preface it by saying Dark Dimension 4 is important, right? You want to get Doom. Doom is an important character in the game. You'll find use for him for sure. But this is more about doing effective planning, right? And making sure that you're going about it the right way. Especially if you're someone that's probably not spending money in the game, you have to be a little bit more efficient in your approach, to Dark Dimension. So let's talk about that. That's my first thing that I wanted to say. The reason why I'm not rushing in is I don't want to bring in bad characters. I saw a lot of players bring in characters like Widow and Hawkeye and Cap, and while those characters individually aren't necessarily bad characters, right? But they're bad G15, potentially even just orange gear investment, if you're kind of doing that first and prioritizing them over other characters. You know what I mean?
Well, I think let's just put it this way. Dark Dimension 4 is not going to happen accidentally. It requires a lot of planning. And if you've started any of your planning for Dark Dimension 4, you know that there's a limited amount of resources and it is incredibly difficult and resource heavy to take a single character to 15. And so my suggestion is choose wisely, and not only choose, I don't even think choosing a character that'll do well in DD4 should be a priority. It should be a priority are you going to be able to use this character outside of DD4 today in your arena team, in your raids, in war, whatever. But to get a lot of, and so for me, probably the worst possible pick would be a character like Sabretooth. And so I'm just saying, don't do Sabretooth. Do characters that you love, that you like, ones that you have high red stars, ones that you're going to get uses in multiple game modes, because you can only, it takes, to get through the first run of Dark Dimension 4, 16 characters. I personally took 15 characters that I feel very useful, and I only have one regret. But I think there's a way of going through it without having any regrets, and having characters that you love and that you use and get value out.
Yeah, and I think that was just my thought. I didn't like, and I didn't like the idea of people taking in Sabretooth just because I just didn't like the mentality of this character is cheap. So therefore, I'm going to bring that character in.
He's not cheap. It requires SBCs, it requires catalysts, and it requires origin pieces. Those are valuable. The 15s, yes, he's cheap on 15s, but you're gonna. It's just there's only so many orange pieces available, and regardless, there's a cost.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've kind of just mapped it out in a sense where I'm bringing in impactful like for my first 5 characters, I'm bringing in Thanos. I'm bringing in, Sinister, Emma. I'm gonna bring in Zemo as well, and Ghost. Like those are characters that I find, hey, Emma and Sinister are gonna be impactful on my roster, probably for Arena, definitely, for War, and maybe not so much in Doom raids because there is Axeman, but they're still gonna provide a lot of value for me on my roster. So I feel like those are the better characters for me to try to go in with initially, as opposed to trying to bring in Sabretooth and Widow, just characters that I just don't feel are going to be that valuable.
All right, so I use the same 4, so I agree. The only thing that I'll say about, so like typically, you've got mutant and you've got bio and so on, right? And you have to you typically, most people are selecting 3 and then moving forward, right? And then figuring out which 3. And I think that the 2 that most, as far as mutant, which you talked about right there, is mutant, is that I think Mr. Sinister is a top choice, and I believe Phoenix is a top choice. And then from there, who's going to be your third pick, and then that's where there can be some discussion. I chose Emma. A lot of other people would have chose Longshot, and even other people would have chose Jubilee. And so, that's where there you can have a debate. And at the end of the day, I believe all of those are good choices. Maybe you pick the one with the highest red stars.
Yeah, and it's also, I think, for me, just where I'm getting the most impact in terms of my roster. I mean, I'm going a little bit heavier on mutants than probably recommended, right? I'm bringing in Sinister Emma, but then I'm also going Jubilee and Phoenix. And yes, that may take me a little bit longer to complete it, but I feel from an efficiency standpoint, Jubilee's used on my raid team. They're also amazing in War, and they're also really annoying to fight in RTA. So I'm getting a lot of benefit out of them. Phoenix is a top character, so that makes sense. And like I said, Emma and Sinister are together, they're very good combo, but also they're good in a lot of other areas of the game. So maybe I'm going a little heavy, and actually
well, and I took Jubilee to 15, but I want to say this, the primary function of Jubilee is landing blind, right?
Yep.
And her passive, giving turn meter to the team. She's not really, what I'm saying is that she's not my damage dealer on that deal, like Bishop is, and so like there's certain characters that, you want to optimize damage. And so you could make a case for saying that Longshot and Bishop would be a better choice over Jubilee just because of their purpose outside of Dark Dimension 4. And the problem that I'm having is, mutants becomes a real big problem because there's so many good mutants. We've mentioned the 3 that are not tied to necessarily the new teams, and the new teams I'm talking, outside of the new teams, you got Mr. Sinister, Emma, and Phoenix. Those are kind of known entities, right? New teams would be Astonishing X-Men, and so there's a lot of great choices there, right? Probably the characters that the 3 most important characters on this team is going to be Beast, Bishop, and Jubilee. And Bishop is probably the one you want to be the biggest, right? And then you've got X Factor, right? Well, what are we going to do with X Factor? We don't even know how amazing X Factor could be, right? We're just in this place, right? We're not sure, right?
Yeah.
And but we do know is that Longshot and Shatterstar are quite exceptional. So for me, I took up Jubilee to 15, and what I'm struggling with right now is I don't have the resources to finish up Multiple Man up to 14 or even get it, because it's because of the gene, the whatever, the origin piece, we're not even talking about catalysts,
saddle plasms, like those things.
Yeah, I'm not having problem with the catalysts or SBCs. I'm struggling with the mutant X splice gene, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And I'm having to farm all 3 nodes a day. And so because mutants are in demand, so pick whatever one you like the best and go from there. And I think Julie's an excellent choice, but I kind of wishing I would have went, a little different route at this point because I'm just so starved for resources.
Yeah, I think part of it for me is that I'm also going really heavy with my symbiotes. I'm probably wouldn't recommend this, but there's also a factor of I just really like the symbiotes. So I think symbiotes are a no-brainer, by the way, because they're so good. Yeah, they're great. I'm bringing in 4 of them, and you're like, oh my god, the BioGear.
No. That note, and hopefully you're doing Venom, Venom, Scream, and Carnage is the one that I didn't do, and I'm
Okay.
very happy not doing Carnage. You know, and it's still a hassle getting through it with those 4.
Okay. Well, I have Carnage in there because he's already at 14. Venom's only at 13. So I'm like, that's going to be even more gear. So I'm kind of prioritizing Carnage over him. I was hoping to be able to bring in Venom potentially on the second run was my hope.
Okay. So the reason why Venom is important is defense up. You're not going to be able to depend on Symbiote Spider-Man landing the defense down and then anti-Venom spreading it to the team, right?
Okay.
And Venom, it's kind of a big deal because the nodes were designed around. Here's the thing: you're going to get through it. It's just going to take longer. I don't even focusing on the optimal team, but what I found is Venom was very helpful in DD4, but he may not be helpful as much outside of DD4. But he was really important in DD4 for getting through it quickly. But if you don't care about going through it quickly, do the ones that you love, right?
Right, exactly. And that actually kind of segues into my next point here, which was I also wanted to make sure that I was bringing in the characters in the right sequence. I think one of the things that I saw happening a lot where players were bringing in, hey, I'm going to bring in Thanos and 3 global characters, and I'm going to bring in Symbiote Spider-Man. And I'm like, well, it's the same thought process again, where it's the catalyst that you also have to spend too, right? So
well, that has to do with bio, and I think people were trying to do one of each character, one mutant, one cosmic, one bio. And are you going to put a bio? So you're one of your first 5 is probably going to be a bio, just basically the way that the 15s are distributed evenly almost, right? And so you definitely which is the first bio you're going to finish is the question. Is it going to be Anti-Venom or Symbiote Spider-Man? One of the two, right?
Yeah, so I personally went against that idea, and I wanted to focus down on getting 4 globals in, getting 1 cosmic in, because then I'm going to want to bring up 3 cosmic and then work on city after that. Because
so but let me ask you this. So but the pieces for the pieces are distributed equally as far as city, not city, but as far as bio, mutant, mystic, so on, right? And so so you're going to have enough pieces for a bio character to be a part of your first 5. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So true, you will, but there's also other pieces too, like your catalyst. So I did a map spread out, and I'm like, okay, well, if I put this into Symbiote Spider-Man right now, I'm losing the damage catalyst that I could potentially put into XYZ character for my cosmic run. So now I'm going to be short waiting on cosmic because I've already put those pieces into Symbiote Spider-Man when I'm not even going to be using them yet until the city knows. So that was my thought.
Sense. My main choke point was solely the 15s on my first run. And so it was about using one skill, 1 mystic, 1 bio, 1 mutant. You know what I mean? And then going, and then and then because of it was the distribution was equal and getting those pieces. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so maybe you might be, I'll say this, like maybe you're in a different position, not you, Mobile, but like other players, you might be in a different position. So that you may, doing it the way that Mobile did it, that might make sense for you. The way I'm doing it is because I'm short on, like I'm probably 1,500 for all 16 characters. I'm 1,500 short on Focus Catalyst, and then another 1,000 on Damage Catalyst. So for me, I'm like, well, it makes sense for me to focus down on getting global in first, then cosmic, and then city, and so on and so forth. So that was just my thought process on that.
But meta characters, man, not meta characters that are going to have impact on your roster outside of the game is the main thing. And without a doubt, that is the way to go for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I guess this is sort of like my last kind of like thoughts. When this is more recent, while Doom seems, he's a good character, great character, right? Top 5 character, doesn't seem as impactful initially, right? When you first get him. I think ideally you want to be able to get him to 7 gold and then 4 red for him to make that impact. I just find that just based on seeing, like players like you and others who have Doom, he doesn't seem to have had the impact like Ultron had, right? Where Ultron automatically gave you an extra 100 spots, you know, in your
Right.
arena,
Oh, yeah.
or immediately gave you the opportunity for you to do, you know, Ultimate 7 raids. Now I know Doom is good in raids and Doom raids, so from what I can see
Yeah.
so far, but it
Yeah.
just doesn't. It seems like, and maybe I'm wrong about this, so please correct me, but it seems as if though the primary goal, the primary reward that you're getting for completing Dark Dimension 4, yeah, partially it's Doom, but it's also getting those other G15 pieces.
Well, it's
so
kind of
upgrade your
weak.
roster.
They don't give you that many, actually.
Oh, they don't? What?
No, it's not that great compared to DD3. So okay. So I'll say two things about my feelings about Doom. Is firstly, I feel Silver Surfer is way more impactful today than Doom is.
So good.
He's so good. So for some reason or another, I'm way more blown away by Silver Surfer. And then secondly, my second thought is that the impact that Ultron made when I unlocked Ultron was drastic.
Yeah.
And I don't get that feeling from Doom. So in a sense, he's underwhelming. Now, that being said, where does Doom shine, right?
Yes.
Where does Doom shine? And my alliance is doing the Doom raids daily, and he shines in there because he's good in 2 nodes. You know, it's split up into lanes, right?
Yeah.
And there's the legs in it, and so because he has both the tech and the mystic tag, he's quite good there. So I'm getting immense value in the Doom raids by having Doom. And then the second one is I'm using him on offense in Alliance War with Invisible Woman, Thing, Namor, and Mr. Fantastic. And I'm seeing rather large punch ups, 150 to 200K punch ups.
Okay.
What I think a lot of people were expecting and didn't necessarily happen was for him to be this magical, impenetrable defensive character in the arena and or in Alliance War. And even though he is very good, the truth of the matter is that the players are smart, and there's a way around him. Specifically, ability block works quite well against Doom.
So if you're using a character like Zemo against them, then you'll have an upper hand. Okay.
Yes. So and for me, like if when I'm in tryhard mode in RTA, Doom is not a go-to.
Okay.
He's just not. And I come across Dooms in RTA all the time, and usually it's not a problem. It's just not a problem.
And I'm wondering if that's just and kind of just like the result of where the game is right now, right? Where, play characters have gotten better in this game. There's a lot of really great impactful characters like your Doc Ock, like your Silver Surfer now. And I'm wondering if, it's just at the point where maybe they're trying to go away from something like similar like the Black Order team, where Black Order just dominated the meta for such a long time. Maybe that's the reason why maybe Doom is not as impactful, just because of where the game is and kind of how, just the other impactful characters that we also have in the game as well.
I wanted to answer your question, but I'm just starstruck by your 7 red anti-venom. And I'm staring at it, and I was trying to listen really hard to what you were saying, but I was just staring at that going, oh my God, you have a 7 red of anti-venom. Oh my God, dude, that is such a big deal right there, my guy.
I would love to get him. To get him.
Black Order is really strong. Yeah. And things will pivot. And I believe that Silver Surfer is a part of that puzzle for sure.
Yep.
Along with Doom, perhaps. And it's possible also the characters to make the character that is going to make the optimal Doom team in, let's say, Arena hasn't been released yet. It's possible.
Okay. Well, that's fair. So, I mean, I think basically when it comes to Dark Dimension, essentially what we're saying is plan, right? Efficient.
You have to plan. It's not going to happen on its own. You have to plan. Yeah.
You got to buy your G15s every day in the store. The RTA Battle Pass is, you're probably going to need to buy that just to be able to get those G15s. I don't know. I hate to say it, but I think it's going to the timeline to finishing Dark Dimension 4 without the Battle Pass is really long.
and in the current state of the game right now. And the most economically efficient way, as you know, if as a dolphin, would I think the first $20 that you should spend on moving towards getting Doom should be the RTA Battle Pass. There's a lot of other value in that Battle Pass. There's a character in there that's usually helpful, and there's 500 cores, and usually, and then you're getting some 15s, a significant amount of 15s. Like I think an extra 60 or an extra 50 on top of it. I think it's almost 100 between the two tracks. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but it's something. It's more than you get elsewhere, right? You just don't get that many elsewhere, and they're trying to sell us those things for $1 a piece or $1.50 a piece, which is not a good value, right? So it's a reasonable value in the $20 battle pass, in my opinion. And when you need more than 1,000 pieces to finish your 16 characters, as far as the 15s, it's not going to happen accidentally. Right. You're gonna have to buy the pieces you need inside of the supply section, and you're gonna have to use your war currency to get them there. It's just the way it works.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I mean, I think in terms of, there's probably more that we can talk about here, but I think those are kind of like the essentials, right? Essential things. Plan it out. Be patient. RTA Battle Pass is extremely important. I don't know. Anything else? Any last final thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think there's a tremendous rush to get into Doom, unless your alliance is in the Doom raids. The most value I'm getting out of Doom is in the Doom raids. Okay. And, this is the first iteration of the Doom raids. This is not the final form of the Doom raids. And so I would like to see that, before I could give like a blanket recommendation on it too, because we're not sure. Have you played much of the Doom raids? It's really hard. A lot of it. I haven't. No. Some of it very much feels like DD3.
Okay, well that's good to know. We're still doing Ultima 7.5 right now, so we're not ready to do Doom raids yet. So
if you're in Ultima 7.5, man, just get your Astonishing X-Men up and running. 400K, and you should be good to go. Or somewhere around there, pretty close to going through 7.5 with some ease, right?
Yeah, I have a 330K team right now, all gear tier 12, and they dominate easily.
Yeah, there you go. I think if 7.5 is your thing, I think X-Men's the best way to go. But when you get into the Doom raids, then you have to start focusing on, you need Doom, and then you're going to need certain key skill characters, and you're going to need a lot of the characters that you took into that you're taking into DD4 are the same characters needed to finish the Doom raids. Absolutely.
So basically prioritize characters that you're going to be using outside in those, and thinking about Doom raids, bringing those characters into Dark Dimension 4, so that you could get the best out of your investment, essentially.
Yeah, and if you get a chance to watch videos, or you're on a stream where someone's actually playing in the Doom raid, be mindful of the characters that the people are using, and if those characters line up with your Dark Dimension 4, your characters that you're taking up for Dark Dimension 4, that's what you want to do. It really, because that is really the hardest part of the game right now is the Doom raid.
For sure. All right, well, brother, appreciate you being on the channel, of course.
Yeah.
First time officially. You are welcome now into the Goof Troop. Appreciate you guys watching the video as well.
Do you have a song?
We don't have one on cue. We don't have one on cue right now.
Oh man.
My bad. We don't have one on cue right now.
I'm sad now.
No, it
doesn't feel official.
I'm sorry. We'll work on that. We'll work on that, guys. Now, we did do a video on your channel too as well, so do go check that out as well, guys. Appreciate you guys watching very much. Thank you once again, Mobile, for being on the channel.
Big round of applause for Goofy.
Thank you. Yes, baby's here. If you guys don't know already, week and a half old now. If you guys don't know, but listen, appreciate you guys watching so very much. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe.